Welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to learn about looping. What is looping in programming, specifically in Python programming? Well, if you look at the concept of looping in literal terms, in simple way to understand, looping just means repeating. If you repeat some certain action over and over again, that's what we call looping in programming. Let me give you an example. Keep on creating files, and then we set the computer, okay, keep on creating file until it reaches 1000, and the computer will go on until continue creating file. Create. We keep on continue creating until the condition occurs. So that's what we call looping, just means repeating. In Python programming, we have two types of looping. We have for loop and while loop. I'm going to demonstrate an example of for loop and while loop so that you will understand them better. So let's start with while loop. While loop is a condition-based loop. Imagine you ask your kid to keep jumping until it jumps 10 times. You see? So now you give it a condition. Keep jumping until you jump 10 times. So when your kid is jumping, it's going to count. When it counts, it's going to say, okay, when I reach 10, I'm going to stop. So when your kid reaches 10 jumps, then it's going to stop. So it's the same thing with while loop. While loop is going to continue doing the action until some certain condition become false. If the condition is true, the looping is going to continue. That means the repetition. If the condition is false, then the looping is going to stop. So let's see an example. If you notice here, we created a variable called count. So I'm going to create a while loop. What we're going to do, we're going to start with while keyword. When you write this while keyword, in front of it, you're going to put your condition. This condition must be true. When you put this condition, if the condition is true, then whatever below this while loop is going to continue running until this condition become false. If the condition is true, whatever we put below that while loop is going to run. But if the condition is false, then it's not going to run. So what our condition in this case? Our condition is we're going to say count. While count is less than 10, we're saying that, okay, we're going to check our variable. Is it less than 10? If it is less than 10, then we want you to keep repeating this action. And then if you notice our variable is 0, then 0 is less than 10, which is true. So what do we want our program to do? Then we're going to say, okay, our program, we want it to print a looping. Just print a loop. And we want you to take that variable count and add 1 to it. So this is what is going to happen. We have a variable we assign 0 to it, and then we check the condition. Yes, 0 is less than 10. Then this program is going to be executed. We're going to see print loop in our terminal, and then when it's printed, then it's going to add 1 inside that variable, which is going to become 1. When it's repeated again, then it's going to add another 1 to become 2, and then looping again, going to add. So whenever it add number to that variable, this condition is going to be checked. Whenever we repeat again, then this condition is going to be checked. So when we add 1, it's going to 1 is less than 10, true, and the code is going to run. Then it check again. 2 less than 10, true, check again. 3 less than 10. So this is how it's going to work. So now we print it. We're going to see a loop almost 10 times. So let's run the program and see what's the output. So you see, this is the output. You see, we have a loop many times. That's what we call looping. So now, since we understand what is while loop, there are some certain keyword you have to know in a while loop. If I remove this count, which is we do not add number to this count variable, then our looping is not going to stop. It's going to continue looping endlessly. That's what we call infinity loop. If I run it right now, you see, it's not going to stop. I have to come to my terminal and do Control C just to stop it. If I do not Control C, it's going to keep on running. It's not going to stop. So now we understand while loop. Let's go on and understand for loop. So we have to use that count plus equal to 1 to keep adding 1 to that count variable so that our condition is later on going to be false. Otherwise, we're going to end up with infinity loop. So now I hope you understand what is while loop is a condition based loop. Now we're going to go on and understand for loop. One for loop is a loop we use to iterate over a sequence of elements. For example, like a list, tuple, dictionary, and so on. So for loop, we usually use it to iterate over a sequence of elements. When I write this for loop, this is how you're going to write for loop. When you write for, and then you're going to create a new variable. Let me call my variable, let's call it fruit. I call it fruit. Then I say fruit. This is the for keyword, and then my new variable fruit, and then I'm going to set in then fruits. This variable this is my own variable called fruits. If you notice, I store a list of fruits inside it: mango, banana, guava, and so on. So this is a list. Then I set for fruits. This is my new variable fruit in fruit, which is my old variable, a sequence, which is a list. Then what is going to happen is that we're going to go over all these elements. We start with the first one, which is mango, and then we take this mango and we put it inside fruit. Then when we do whatever it is, the logic we put below this follow, then when it come back, it's going to jump to banana, put it inside fruit, then it go on and do something, then it come back to this sequence of fruit, take guava and put it inside fruit, and then we'll do some stuff with it. So let me show you. If I set print, which is, then I'm going to say this variable that I created, this variable is only work inside the for loop. Since I created within the for loop, so it's not going to be accessible globally. It's going to only be accessible within the for loop. So I say for fruit inputs, then let's run it and see what's the output. Let me clear my terminal. So you see, we have banana, guava, mango, apple, and strawberry. So it's look through over them and we print each one of them. So let's say we want to do something if the fruit reaches to banana. So let's say we're going to put a condition set if fruit, which is if fruit is equivalent to, let's say, guava instead of banana. Let's say guava. Guava. Then what do you want it to do? Let's say we just say I like it. Just print I like this fruit. So we go over through them. We start with the mango. Then this condition is going to check, is it mango equal to guava? No. Then it will not run this I like this fruit. It will just print the fruit itself. Then we go over again, check the condition, then over and over again. So until this sequence is done. So let me run it here in my terminal so that we're going to see what's the output. If we run it here, you see mango, banana. Then the moment it reaches to guava, it just said I like this fruit, and then we see guava. So you see our condition is work. So there is some keyword that you need to know when you're working with loop. there is a keyword we call break. If I put this break means if this condition become true, then we're going to cut off the loop. That means we're going to stop looping from executing. We're going to check, is it mango equal to guava? No, then it will skip the code and just print it. Then we go on to banana, and banana is not equal to mango, then it will skip this portion of code, and then we move on. Then when it reaches guava, then fruit is equivalent to guava. Then what is going to happen? It's going to print I like this fruit, and then our looping is going to stop. So the moment we reach guava, our looping is going to stop. We are not going to see apple and strawberry printed out. So let's see. So you see, the moment we reaches guava, the loop automatically stop. We do not see any continuation of apple and strawberry because we use this keyword called break. So now we understand what is break. Let's learn about the other keyword, which is called continue. What's the difference between break and continue? Well, break is going to stop the loop completely, but continue is not going to stop the loop, but rather is going to stop the loop, the execution of the code within that loop to start from the beginning. Here what I mean, when the looping is start from the beginning, then we take the mango, put it inside the fruit, we check the condition is not true, we jump out to this code, which is print fruit, then we're going to see it in the terminal. Again, we do the same thing to banana. When we come to guava, what is going to happen is when we check the condition is now true, then we're going to say, okay, print I like these fruits, then continue. This continue keyword will not allow our Python program to execute the code below it, which if we have like thousands of lines of code below it, it will not allow it to look at those, but it will just say, okay, since we hit continue, let's go back and start. Let's go back and continue doing the loop. We are not going to execute the rest of the code. This is what the difference between break and break is going to stop the looping completely, while continue it will say, okay, stop, go back and continue. But don't run the code below me. So let's run it and see. So you see, we have mango, banana, and I like this fruit. And when you said I like this fruit, we know in that case fruit is equivalent to guava. So we're supposed to see guava print out. But since we hit this continue, then it will say go back and continue. Don't run the code below me. That's what the continue keyword do. So I hope you understand what is for loop, while loop, and if you have any question, you can ask in the comment section below. Let's subscribe to this channel. I'm going to explain other concept of programming, like creating a function, what is a function, how to work with function, and other concept of programming like that. So if you like a video like this, please subscribe to this channel, and let's see in our next video where I explain the concept of function and how to create a function.